If you're not already, it's time to get excited about Outlook. Microsoft Outlook is an interesting application because so many people use it, but I found that not many people really understand it. Almost everyone these days, be it for business or personal use, sends and receives email. Therefore, we need a method to create, send, receive, and manage those messages. The very first and maybe most important thing you'll learn by partaking of this Outlook 2013 title is that Outlook is not just email. I'm pretty emphatic about that, and you'll probably hear me mention it at least 2 or 20 more times. If we're using it for email alone, it's a great tool. But we are missing the boat on productivity, efficiency, and professionalism, and making it much more difficult to be at the top of our game if we're only using email. We're wasting a majority of the power of Outlook and overlooking the other components that make it not only a good email client, but a phenomenal information management system. So our goal number 1, is to optimize the return on your investment in both owning the software and using Outlook, and in doing so, optimizing your work and your potential. With that said, though, email is what people use first and most often. So, of course, we'll take a quick tour through the interface, talking about the ribbon and some other features that if you've used prior Office versions may be familiar, but if you haven't used them or haven't used recent versions, it's good for a little bit of a refresher. We'll also have an opportunity for a short discussion about what Outlook is, just to whet our appetites a little more, as well as a brief overview of how email actually works, other than just typing, clicking send, and poof, messages magically just appear where we want them to go. Those are some of the conceptual things, but we will talk an awful lot about how this program actually works, and that includes things like how we actually set up different types of accounts to work with Outlook. It can be an Exchange account, a POP3, or an IMAP account. And we'll go through each and every one of them so you can get all of your email from all of your accounts in one single place. We'll talk about some account settings, including the fabulous social connector, which allows us to see things from Facebook, LinkedIn, and other social sites, again, right from within Outlook. We'll talk about sending automatic replies, and one of the important things, how to keep house, how to make sure we keep things clean and tidy so we don't get our mailbox clogged up and we can find the things that we need, but let Outlook do a lot of this work for us so we don't have to take the time to do it ourselves. A lot of that is done by using rules and alerts, so Outlook can automatically move things to the folders we need them in. Speaking of folders, another thing that we'll do is talk about how to create our own custom folder sets, so we can have folders that make sense to us for the things that we work with and the way we want to organize them. Now, don't worry, we'll definitely be talking about email. We'll actually be talking about email a lot. We'll go through the basic functionality of email, as well as things like how to format messages, how to add email signatures automatically to the bottom of each of our messages, how to do something like collecting votes so that we can get opinions from people without having to manually manage it, as well as a variety of different tools for managing our email. Things like requesting tasks, sharing information, requesting read receipts or delivery receipts, and a very common thing, which is to work with attachments. We'll learn how to work with attachments, what some of the pitfalls are about doing so, and even how we can preview attachments without ever even opening a message. Although Outlook is much more than email, we do invest a lot of time learning about email because while Outlook isn't only email, email is at its core. It's how we communicate with each other and how Outlook communicates with us. What we learn about creating, sending, and managing mail also applies to the other components of Outlook as well. In addition to some basic and advanced skills, I hope to be able to share with you lots of tips and tricks and insights along the way to help us better understand not only how to create Outlook items, but how to integrate them together and into our day-to-day activities. You might be asking why I spend so much time explaining how things work, or why we should be doing things in a certain way. Many say they don't care, they just want to be able to get things done. Well, I agree with that. We do need to be able to apply the things and be able to get things done. But I work to provide a lot of depth in my training. As a matter of fact, training is just telling you what to do. I prefer to teach, and that includes the why behind it. Initially, some of you may say it's too much, when all you want to know is the simple steps. But my style, my goal, and my objective is to assist you to learn the why, not just the how, so you truly understand how your software works. Many presenters do just show the steps, do 1, 2, 3, and until you experience the difference, you'll probably be okay with that. But if you only know what I can show you, you'll be limited to just that. Only what can possibly be demonstrated during these videos, and it's impossible to show you everything. If, on the other hand, we take a few extra minutes to explain what is actually happening, then you'll be able to expand on the specific demonstrations and do whatever you want and need when the need arises. I've found that most people appreciate that, even if the value isn't totally clear at first. So, we'll definitely be demonstrating the features of Outlook, but we'll also be interspersing it with some concepts and even little tidbits of history and trivia to keep it all interesting, to keep you engaged, to provide something that you can share with your colleagues, family, and friends, and most importantly, so when we're done, we can fully appreciate the power of Outlook. That power includes not only email, but those other components of Outlook as well. And they include, for example, the calendar. The calendar comes in many different views, which we'll learn all about as we work through each of our different modules. Here's one that looks like a monthly view. We'll be able to manage our time better by keeping everything on our calendar, by color coding it, by setting reminders for important things, and even learning how we can share calendars with other people so that we can see their information without having to call them or ask them. What I know, though, is we often don't make calendar appointments just for ourselves, and we certainly don't send a lot of email to ourselves, so another component that's very important is called the People Hub. Used to be called Contacts, the People Hub is the new term. In the People Hub, we'll of course learn how to add and work with our contacts. We'll also learn how we can use business cards, including sending our own to others to share our information, and we'll see that we now have the social connector so that we can connect to information that is posted in people's Facebook pages or LinkedIn and have access to it right here within Outlook. The last main component that we'll talk about is, of course, the task list. All of us have that dreaded to-do list, and we just need a way to manage it. We'll learn that it's very simple and very similar to all of the other modules. But we'll also learn that Outlook doesn't disappoint here either. When we have a task item, it can be ours, or we can assign it to someone else. If we need to send status reports, we can do so from within Outlook to let everybody on the team know how much is done or whether it's complete or any other details with just a couple of clicks. We'll even learn how to put tasks on our calendar to be sure that we have set aside time to actually get them done and don't just accumulate that list of things we eventually need to do. There, of course, is so much to show you in Outlook that we can't just do it in an overview. That's why we have the entire series. It goes from the basics all the way through the advanced skills that you'll need to know if you want to take full advantage of Outlook. When we're finished, you will most certainly understand that Outlook is not just email, but instead, it's a powerful personal information management system that assists us in creating, managing, organizing, and sharing information related to what I kind of think of are the four main questions in our lives: the who, the what, the where, and the when. I'll help you appreciate the why behind what we do in Outlook while sharing with you the how we actually accomplish it using Outlook 2013.